morning all. My name is Lisa Parata and I'm here today with Rhodes Donald, and I'm hoping that today Rhodes can give us a little bit of an explanation of what is happening with the China-US trade wars. Can you simplify it a little bit for us?
Thanks, Lisa. It's a very topical question, and I was thinking when people hear about trade wars, I mean, what do they really think of going on? Well, we've all, every country in the world's involved in trade negotiations. They've been going on forever, and there's a great mechanism to set up trade agreements and then police them. Because you can say you're going to do something, but then if a country doesn't do it, you need some sort of policing mechanism. And we have a third-party independent trade body that decides on disputes. Now, America and China are dispensing with all that. They're going head-to-head in a trade war and ignoring all the rules that have been set up in the past. And they can do that. So when the Chinese and the Americans get together, they say they're going to do all sorts of things, but one of the problems is enforcing it. And this is where the Americans have spat the dummy. They've said that they will be the only ones to decide whether China is going to abide by the rules. They won't go to any third party, and they'll keep tariffs on to use them as a levering and a management mechanism to make sure that China does the right thing. Now, China is just completely against that sort of thing. I mean, why would they go into an agreement if America keeps all those punitive tariffs on? It's not an easy situation. And people that I know in doing research in China say that while the current President Xi and President Trump are running the show, that there won't be any progress on this trade problem, because they've come up against the clash between communism and capitalism, I believe. In the capitalist economy, businesses doing trade with China are independent of the government. And in all trade negotiations, every country is trying to make sure that the other lot don't have an unfair advantage, and government subsidies is considered to be an unfair advantage. And in China, many of the companies are owned and run by the Communist Party, or individuals belonging to the Communist Party, and government support for key industries is a part of their system, and they're calling it, this is our sovereign right to be communists and to do it like this. We'll do our best to be fair to the Americans and not use government money to make cheap products and subsidize cheap products and then sell them on the American market and undercut American producers. And that's what it comes down to. Just each country trying to protect its own producers and to do it in a fair way. Now, the benefits of international trade are huge, but there's huge difficulty as well in maintaining a fair system. I think everyone would agree that the Chinese are not fair, they haven't been fair in the past. So part of us would want to cheer the Americans on. But I don't doubt the Americans are vile bullies in other respects. And so China on the one hand wants America to show mutual respect for its system, and America says, well, we don't believe you, and we will be the sole judge of whether you're meeting the trade deals or not, and we'll keep tariffs on to punish you if you don't do what we want you to do. So those two presidents don't look as though they're going to back down. I think it would take a change of president in America. That's likely to be the first thing in 2020. There's an election. That's the first opportunity to get another look at just how they could work together, yet with completely different systems.
And is this why we're seeing markets go up and down at the moment?
Yes, yes. The American share market fell 6.5%, the S&P 500 for the month of May. The Chinese market fell less. So if it's hurting China more than it's hurting America, this trade war, well, it hasn't shown up in the share markets. Our portfolios fell for the month of May 3.5%, pretty much, depending on your risk profile. So it took back the gains we'd had in April. So that's what we live with, ups and downs of markets.
Yeah. No, that explains a lot. Thank you very much for
Pleasure.
simplifying that for me.
Oh, thanks, Lisa.